Welcome, elevate, and thrive where your mindset evolves. Let me tell you something most people don't want to hear. Your future is not waiting for you. It is being built by what you do today, not tomorrow, not next week.
Not one day.
Today, every excuse you make today becomes a regret tomorrow. Every delay becomes disappointment. Every comfort zone becomes a prison. You don't wake up one day with a bad life. You build it slowly by avoiding change. You already know what you need to fix. You already know what you need to stop. You already know what you need to start. So why haven't you? Because change is uncomfortable, and most people choose comfort over growth. But let me ask you this: how long are you going to keep lying to yourself? How long are you going to say soon? How long are you going to wait for motivation? Motivation doesn't come first. Action does. You don't feel ready, you move anyway. You don't feel confident, you act anyway. You don't feel strong, you show up anyway. That's how confidence is built. That's how discipline is formed. That's how winners are made. Your future self is watching you right now. And one day, that future version of you will ask you, why didn't you start when you had the chance? Regret is heavy. It stays with you. It reminds you of what you could have been. But change can happen right now. Not when it's easy, not when it's perfect now. Because if you don't change today, you will regret it tomorrow. Your future is not something that magically appears one day. It is not waiting for you somewhere ahead. It is being created right now in this moment by the choices you make today, not tomorrow, not next month, not when you feel ready. Today, every small action you take, every habit you repeat, every excuse you allow, and every decision you avoid is shaping the life you will live later. Most people think the future is a distant place. It isn't. The future is built in the present, brick by brick, moment by moment. People love to say, I'll start tomorrow. But tomorrow is a lie your comfort tells you to keep you where you are. Tomorrow feels safe. Today feels hard. Today requires effort, discipline, and responsibility. Today demands that you show up even when you don't feel like it. And that's exactly why today matters more than any other day. Because the person you become is shaped by what you do when no one is watching, when no one is cheering, when it would be easier to quit. Your future body is built by what you eat and how you move today. Your future bank account is built by how you spend, save, and work today. Your future confidence is built by the actions you take today, not by what you plan, not by what you think, by what you actually do. Every time you choose comfort over effort, you are choosing a weaker version of your future. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you are choosing strength. People often say they want a better life, but they don't want better habits. They want results without the work. They want change without discomfort. But life doesn't work like that. The future doesn't reward intentions. It rewards actions. You can have the best dreams in the world, but if your daily actions don't match those dreams, they will stay dreams forever. Look at your daily routine. That routine is your future in disguise. If you wake up late, waste hours, avoid responsibility, and numb yourself with distractions, that is the life you are building, not someday, right now. But if you wake up with purpose, take responsibility, work on your goals, and push yourself even when it's uncomfortable, that is also the life you are building. Every day you wake up, you are either investing in your future or stealing from it. There is no neutral. Doing nothing is still a choice. Avoiding action is still an action. Waiting is still a decision. And every one of those decisions has a consequence. Most people don't fail because they are weak. They fail because they delay. They wait for the perfect moment. They wait for confidence. They wait for motivation. They wait for someone to save them. But no one is coming, and the perfect moment doesn't exist. Life rewards those who move, not those who wait. Your future self is counting on you. The version of you 5 years from now will either thank you or hate you for what you do today. That version will live with the consequences of your discipline or your laziness. And once time passes, you cannot go back and fix what you ignored. You don't wake up one day with a bad life. You slowly build it by ignoring what matters. You don't wake up one day successful either. You slowly build that too. Through consistency, effort, and discipline, what you do today may feel small. One workout, one page read, 1 hour of focused work, one decision to say no to distraction. But small actions repeated daily become massive results. Just like small bad habits repeated daily become massive regrets. Your future is not built by big dramatic moments. It is built by small, boring, uncomfortable actions done consistently. It is built by choosing discipline when no one is forcing you. It is built by showing up when it would be easier to quit. You cannot escape the consequences of your actions. You can only choose which consequences you want. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret, the pain of effort or the pain of staying the same. Every single day is a vote for the person you are becoming, and you are voting right now with your actions. Every excuse you make today is a promise of regret you are writing for tomorrow. Excuses feel harmless in the moment. They sound reasonable. They feel logical. They protect your comfort. But what most people don't realize is that every excuse is a delay and every delay has a cost. That cost is not paid today. It is paid later when you look back and realize how much time you wasted waiting for the right moment that never came. An excuse is simply a story you tell yourself to avoid discomfort. You say you're tired. You say you're busy. You say you'll start when things calm down. You say you'll try again next week. These words sound innocent, but they are dangerous. They slowly train your mind to accept less, to settle, to stay where you are. Over time, excuses become a habit, and that habit shapes your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who acts and start seeing yourself as someone who explains. Regret doesn't arrive suddenly. It grows quietly. It builds in the background while you're distracted. One skipped workout becomes 10. One delayed goal becomes a forgotten dream. One excuse becomes a lifestyle. Then one day, you look in the mirror and wonder how years pass so fast. You wonder where your energy went. You wonder why your life doesn't look the way you imagined. That moment hurts because deep down, you already know the truth. You were not unlucky. You were not cursed. You were comfortable. Every time you choose an excuse, you are choosing to stay the same, and staying the same is never neutral. Life is always moving. If you don't move forward, you fall behind. You don't need a disaster to fail. You just need enough excuses repeated over time. Small delays, small avoidances, small lies to yourself. That's how big regrets are formed. People often say they are afraid of failing, but the truth is most people are more afraid of trying, because trying means risking discomfort. Trying means risking embarrassment. Trying means accepting responsibility. And excuses protect you from all of that. They let you stay safe. But safety has a price. That price is potential. Your future self will not be angry at you for failing. It will be angry at you for never trying, for never taking the risk, for never stepping outside your comfort zone, for choosing short-term comfort over long-term growth. Regret is not about what you did wrong. It is about what you never did at all. Excuses are sneaky. They don't sound like weakness. They sound like logic. I'll do it when I have more time. I need to be more prepared. I'm not in the right mood. But life does not wait for moods. Life does not wait for perfect conditions. Life rewards movement, not readiness. When you make excuses, you are not lying to others. You are lying to yourself. And the most dangerous lies are the ones you start believing. Once you convince yourself that your excuses are valid, you stop questioning them. You stop pushing. You stop growing. Regret is heavy. It doesn't scream. It whispers. It shows up late at night when everything is quiet. It shows up when you see others living the life you wanted. It shows up when you realize that time is the one thing you can never get back. And the worst part about regret is that it is usually preventable. Most regrets are not caused by impossible circumstances. They are caused by small, repeated decisions to wait, to delay, to avoid. You don't need more time. You need more courage. You don't need perfect conditions. You need commitment. You don't need motivation. You need discipline. Excuses make you feel better today. Regret makes you feel worse forever. Growth demands discomfort. Change demands effort. Success demands consistency. And excuses are the enemy of all three. If you want a different future, you need different actions. And that starts with refusing to accept your own excuses. Question them, challenge them, replace them with action. You won't always feel ready. You won't always feel confident. You won't always feel strong. But waiting to feel ready is just another excuse. Your life will not change when you understand more. It will change when you do more. Every time you choose action over excuse, you take back control. Every time you show up despite fear, you build strength. Every time you move forward, even slowly, you reduce future regret. You are not behind because you lack talent. You are behind because you've been too patient with your own excuses. And patience with excuses always becomes punishment later. What you avoid today becomes what haunts you tomorrow. What you delay today becomes what you regret tomorrow. And what you choose today becomes the life you live tomorrow. Comfort feels good, but it lies to you. It tells you that staying where you are is safe, that nothing is wrong, that you can wait a little longer. Comfort wraps you in familiarity and convinces you that this is enough. But comfort is not peace, it is stagnation. When you stay comfortable, you stop asking more of yourself. You stop pushing. You stop exploring what you are capable of. And slowly, without noticing, you begin to shrink inside your own potential. Growth has never lived in comfort. Growth lives in the unknown, in the uncomfortable. In the moments where you feel unsure and exposed, it lives in the choices that make your heart race a little, in the decisions that challenge your identity, in the actions that force you to become someone new. Comfort wants you to remain who you are. Growth demands that you become who you could be. Every winner you admire had to choose discomfort at some point. They had to walk away from what was easy. They had to say no to what felt safe. They had to step into spaces where they didn't feel ready, where they didn't feel confident, where they didn't feel certain. Comfort would have told them to stay. Change told them to move. Comfort delays growth because it removes urgency. It makes you feel like you have time. It makes you believe tomorrow is guaranteed. But Tomorrow is not guaranteed. Time does not wait. Life keeps moving whether you move or not. And if you stay comfortable while life moves forward, you are not standing still, you are falling behind. Most people don't fail dramatically. They fade slowly, they fade through routines that never change. They fade through habits that never evolve. They fade by choosing what feels good instead of what builds them. And one day they wake up older, tired, and confused about how they ended up so far from who they wanted to be. Change is uncomfortable because it threatens the version of you that is familiar. It challenges your identity. It forces you to confront your fears, your weaknesses, your excuses. Change asks you to let go of what you know and step into what you don't. That's why most people avoid it. Not because they can't change, but because change requires courage. Winners are not fearless, they feel the fear. They just don't let it decide for them. They understand that comfort is a trap disguised as safety. They know that if they stay comfortable, they will never discover how strong they really are. So they choose the harder path. They choose growth. They choose transformation. Change creates winners because it forces evolution. It forces learning. It forces adaptation. When you change, you gain new skills, new perspectives, new strength. You become someone who can handle more. Comfort never builds strength. It only preserves weakness. Every time you choose comfort, you are choosing the familiar over the possible. You are choosing what you know over what you could become. And every time you choose change, you are choosing expansion. You are choosing to grow into someone who can carry bigger goals, heavier responsibilities, and stronger confidence. Comfort gives you temporary peace. Change gives you lasting power. Comfort tells you to avoid pain. Change teaches you how to handle it. Comfort tells you to stay small. Change forces you to grow. Look at your daily choices. They reveal whether you are living for comfort or for growth. Do you avoid hard conversations? That's comfort. Do you delay difficult tasks? That's comfort. Do you stay in environments that no longer challenge you? That's comfort. And comfort always has a cost. That cost is not paid today. It is paid later when you realize you stayed too long in a place that no longer fit you. It is paid when you realize you outgrew your own courage. It is paid when you wonder why others passed you by. Winners are not chosen. They are built. They are built through discomfort, through risk, through change, through moments of doubt where they still showed up, through times when quitting would have been easier, but growing was necessary. Change is not easy. It will shake you. It will test you. It will make you question yourself. But it will also reveal parts of you that comfort could never reach. You don't become strong by being comfortable. You become strong by overcoming discomfort. You don't become confident by staying safe. You become confident by surviving what once scared you. You don't become a winner by waiting. You become a winner by moving. Comfort keeps you alive. Change makes you powerful. And the life you want will never be found in the place where you feel the most comfortable. Most people believe motivation is something that arrives first, like a spark that suddenly makes everything feel easy. They think one day they will wake up inspired, confident, and ready to change. But that day rarely comes. Motivation is not a gift that falls from the sky. It is a response. It is a reaction to movement. Action is what creates motivation, not the other way around. When you wait to feel motivated, you are waiting for permission from your emotions. And emotions are unreliable. They change with your mood, your energy, your comfort, your fear. If you let your feelings decide when you act, you will act very little. You don't need motivation to start. You need to start to get motivation. Think about it. When you begin moving, even slowly, something changes inside you. You gain momentum. You feel progress. You see yourself taking control. That feeling creates energy. That energy creates motivation. But none of it happens if you stay still. People say, I'll start when I feel ready. But readiness is built through action. You don't become ready by thinking. You become ready by doing. Confidence is not something you wait for. It is something you earn by showing up again and again, especially when you don't feel like it. Motivation is action is logical. If you wait for emotion, you give up control. If you choose action, you take control. Action tells your brain, I am serious. It tells your mind, we are moving now. And your mind follows. The hardest part is always the beginning. Not because the work is impossible, but because your brain resists change. It wants safety, it wants comfort, it wants familiarity. So it creates excuses, it creates doubt, it creates fear. And if you listen to those voices, you stay stuck. Action silences those voices. The moment you move, the excuses lose power, the doubt weakens, the fear shrinks. Not because it disappears, but because you prove to yourself that you are stronger than it. You don't need to feel confident to take action. You take action to become confident. You don't need to feel motivated to work. You work to become motivated. You don't need to feel strong to begin. You begin to become strong. Every powerful person you admire did not wait to feel ready. They acted while afraid. They moved while uncertain. They started while imperfect. And through that, they became unstoppable. Waiting for motivation is comfortable. It lets you stay where you are. It lets you avoid responsibility. It gives you an excuse to delay. But comfort is not your friend. Comfort keeps you small. Action grows you. When you take action, even tiny action, you send a message to yourself: I matter. My future matters. That message changes how you see yourself. And when your self-image changes, your behavior follows. People who succeed don't have more motivation. They have more discipline. They move even when they don't feel like it. They don't negotiate with their excuses. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They understand that progress creates motivation, not the other way around. If you sit and wait for motivation, you teach your brain that comfort is more important than growth. But if you move without motivation, you teach your brain that growth comes first. And once your brain learns that, everything changes. Action creates clarity. Sitting still creates confusion. The more you move, the more you understand yourself. The more you wait, the more lost you become. You don't discover who you are by thinking. You discover who you are by doing. Motivation is fragile. It fades. Discipline lasts. Motivation is emotional. Action is intentional. Motivation is temporary. Progress is permanent. Every time you act without motivation, you build mental strength. You prove to yourself that you are not controlled by your feelings. You become the one in charge, and that is real power. The people who win in life are not the most inspired. They are the most consistent. They don't wait to feel good. They move and then they feel good. They don't wait to feel confident. They act and then confidence appears. They don't wait for courage. They move and courage grows. Action is the spark. Motivation is the fire. Waiting is easy. Moving is hard. But everything you want is on the other side of hard. You don't need a miracle. You need movement. You don't need a sign. You need a step. You don't need motivation. You need to start. And once you start, everything changes. Discipline is not something you are born with. It is not a personality trait reserved for special people. It is not a gift. Discipline is built slowly through repetition, through choices, through showing up when everything inside you says not to. Most people think discipline looks like confidence, energy, and motivation. It doesn't. Discipline often looks like doubt, fatigue, and uncertainty. It looks like doing the work even when you don't feel strong. It looks like starting even when you don't feel ready. Waiting to feel ready is one of the most common ways people sabotage themselves. They think readiness is a feeling. They think one day they will wake up confident, fearless, and prepared. But readiness is not a feeling. It is a result. You become ready by showing up, by practicing, by failing, by learning, by doing. Readiness is built through experience, not through waiting. Every time you show up when you don't feel ready, you send a powerful message to yourself: I can be trusted. That message changes everything. It changes how you see yourself. It changes what you believe about yourself. It builds self-respect. And self-respect is the foundation of discipline. Discipline is not about intensity. It is about consistency. It is not about doing something once when you feel inspired. It is about doing it again and again. Especially when you don't feel like it, most people can start. Very few can continue. And the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not talent, not intelligence, not luck. It is consistency. Showing up when you don't feel ready teaches you emotional control. It teaches you that your feelings are not commands. They are just signals. You can feel tired and still move. You can feel afraid and still act. You can feel unmotivated and still work. That ability is real strength. Every time you wait to feel ready, you give your emotions control over your life. Every time you act without feeling ready, you take that control back. Discipline grows through discomfort. It grows when you push past resistance. It grows when you do the thing you said you would do, even when it feels heavy. Every time you show up, you build proof. Proof that you can rely on yourself. Proof that you are stronger than your moods. Proof that your future matters. Most people break promises to themselves. They say they will start tomorrow. They say they will be consistent. They say they will change, and then they don't. Over time, this creates self-doubt. They stop trusting themselves. They stop believing their own words. Discipline fixes that. It rebuilds trust with yourself. When you show up, even when you don't feel ready, you build identity. You stop being someone who talks. You become someone who acts. And identity is powerful. Once you see yourself as disciplined, your behavior begins to match that identity naturally. Discipline is not about punishment. It is about respect. It is about treating your goals seriously. It is about honoring your future. It is about understanding that your life is shaped by what you repeatedly do, not by what you occasionally feel. No one feels ready all the time. Not athletes, not leaders, not creators, not winners. They show up anyway. They understand that readiness is built in motion, not before it. The first step is always uncomfortable. The second is easier. The third is familiar. And eventually it becomes normal. But you only reach that point if you keep showing up when you don't feel like it. Discipline teaches patience. It teaches you to trust the process. It teaches you that growth is slow, invisible, and quiet. It teaches you to work without applause, to move without validation, to continue without guarantees. Most people quit too early because they expect to feel good immediately. But discipline is not about feeling good. It is about doing what is necessary. You don't become disciplined by doing what is easy. You become disciplined by doing what is hard repeatedly. Every time you show up without feeling ready, you expand your limits. You stretch your capacity, you grow mentally stronger, you become harder to break. Your brain learns from what you do, not what you say. If you constantly wait for motivation, your brain learns that comfort comes first. But if you act without motivation, your brain learns that progress comes first. That lesson changes everything. Discipline is not loud, it is quiet, it is private, it is invisible. It happens when no one is watching, when no one is praising you, when no one knows, and that is what makes it powerful. Because when life gets hard, and you won't need to look for motivation, you will already know how to move. Not because you feel ready, but because you trained yourself to show up anyway. If you don't change now, you will pay for it later. Not with money alone, but with time, energy, regret, and missed chances that you can never buy back. The cost of staying the same is invisible at first. It doesn't show up immediately. It feels harmless, comfortable, safe. But every day you delay change, you are silently adding interest to a debt that will one day come due. Most people think consequences arrive quickly. They don't. They arrive slowly, quietly, in ways that are easy to ignore. One skipped opportunity becomes 10. One ignored habit becomes a lifestyle. One avoided decision becomes a permanent direction. And before you know it, years have passed, and you're living a life you never chose. You simply allowed it to happen. Change feels hard today, but regret is heavier tomorrow. Change demands effort, courage, and discomfort. Regret demands nothing from you except your peace. It stays, it whispers, it reminds you of what you could have been. It follows you into quiet moments. It shows up when you're alone. It shows up when you see others living the life you once dreamed about. Every time you say, later, you are making a decision. Every time you say, not now, you are choosing a future you may not want. Time does not pause for you to feel ready. Life does not wait for you to get comfortable with growth. The world keeps moving, and if you don't move with it, you fall behind. People don't usually destroy their lives in dramatic ways. They erode them slowly, through excuses, through procrastination, through comfort, through fear, through waiting for confidence, waiting for motivation, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for someone else to push them. That perfect moment never comes. Later becomes never, soon becomes years. And one day, you wake up and realize you have more memories than dreams. The price of staying the same is not paid today. It is paid in lost opportunities, in relationships that fade, in skills you never built, in chances you never took, in strength you never developed, in courage you never used. You might think you are saving yourself from discomfort by not changing, but you are only delaying it, and delayed pain always grows. If you don't build discipline now, you will pay with chaos later. If you don't learn now, you will pay with limitations later. If you don't take risks now, you will pay with regret later. If you don't face your fears now, they will control you later. Growth has a cost, but stagnation costs more. The hardest part about change is that it feels unnecessary when life is still okay. When things are not completely broken, it's easy to justify staying the same. Okay is dangerous. Okay is where dreams go to die quietly. You don't need your life to fall apart to start changing. In fact, if you wait until it does, you've already paid too much. The future version of you is being shaped right now, not by what you plan, by what you repeat. And whatever you repeat becomes your identity. If you repeat excuses, you become someone who explains. If you repeat avoidance, you become someone who hides. If you repeat effort, you become someone who grows. Time does not reward intention. It rewards action. The people who change early pay a smaller price. The people who wait pay a heavier one. Waiting feels easier because it removes responsibility, but it doesn't remove consequences. If you don't take control of your habits, they will take control of you. If you don't choose your direction, life will choose it for you. If you don't shape your future, it will be shaped by default. You don't get punished for what you do wrong. You get punished for what you don't do. Strength doesn't appear when life gets hard. It appears when you train it while life is still manageable. Most people think they will change when things get bad enough, but by then they are already exhausted, already behind, already discouraged. Change is cheaper now. It costs more later. Right now, you have energy, you have time, you have choices. Later, you may not. The pain of discipline lasts a moment. The pain of regret lasts a lifetime. You can choose to struggle now and grow, or struggle later and wish you had. Every day you don't change, you are choosing a version of your future, not by accident, by default. And default is dangerous because default never leads to greatness. Elevate your thinking, thrive in your life,